Yatra naryastu pujyante ramante tatra devataha. Where women are honored, there the divine resides. These timeless words from our ancient scriptures remind us that the strength of any society lies in how it respects, nurtures, and empowers its women. Good morning, everyone. I'm your host and host, Priyanka Saxena Ray, founding editor, BOTT. And it is truly a privilege and joy to welcome such an extraordinary gathering of women from across the travel, tourism, and hospitality fraternity. Thank you. Today, this room is filled not just with professionals, but with leaders, innovators, storytellers, and change makers who shape the future of our industry. There is a beautiful truth about women coming together. When we gather in meaningful numbers, something powerful happens. Ideas grow stronger, courage multiplies, and support becomes a force that can transform industries. For me, the idea of SheForShe is deeply personal. My father has 2 brothers, and between the 3 of them, we are 8 daughters, and not a single son. I am daughter number 7, by the way. Growing up, sometimes people would look at our family as if something is missing. But what the world could not see then is what we proudly see today. Those 8 daughters have grown into doctors, teachers, a professor at Delhi University, entrepreneurs, and professionals in different fields. Thank you. This happened simply because we were raised with one simple belief, that being a woman is not a limitation. And perhaps even more importantly, as sisters, we always pushed each other forward. We celebrated each other's achievements, stood by each other in difficult moments, and reminded each other of our strength. That belief stayed with me, and it became the foundation of SheForShe, Women Supporting Women. For BOTT and for my partner, Gunjan and me. Let's hear it for Gunjan, guys. So for BOTT and Gunjan and me, SheForShe is not a campaign. It is not a one-day conversation, but it is a movement. As a media platform deeply connected with the travel ecosystem, we felt the most meaningful thing that we can do is to create a space where women in tourism can come together to share stories, inspire each other, and grow stronger as a community. When we entered this industry with BOTT, 2 women trying to do honest journalism, the tourism fraternity welcomed us with open arms. What we found here was not just an industry, it was sisterhood. You supported us, encouraged us, and helped BOTT grow. And today, Gunjan and I want to thank you and tell you that we will always be your biggest cheerleaders. If you achieve something remarkable, we will celebrate it. If you face a challenge, we will raise that conversation. If you have a voice that deserves to be heard, we will amplify it. But SheForShe is also about creating real opportunities for women. Thus, I'm happy to share that BOTT, in partnership with its CSR partner Creation Welfare Society, has launched a skill training and placement initiative for 100 young girls from underprivileged backgrounds. Our hope is to build a pathway where aspiration can truly lead to opportunity. We are also introducing SheForShe Women Safe Destinations Initiative, encouraging destinations and tourism stakeholders to create environments where women travelers feel safe, comfortable, and empowered to explore. And through this platform, we will also recognize organizations that champion women-led leadership, inclusive workplaces, and equal opportunities in tourism and hospitality. Because when women support women, we strengthen the entire industry. At the heart of SheForShe lies a simple but powerful idea. Women do not rise by pulling each other down. Women rise by lifting each other up. Thank you for being here, for believing in this vision, and for being a part of what I hope will grow into a powerful community of women supporting women. Welcome to BOTT SheForShe. And now, without any further delay, Please join me in welcoming a role model for many of us, Ms. Barkha Dutt, an award-winning journalist, columnist, and India's only Emmy-nominated TV reporter, honored with the Padma Shri for her outstanding contribution to journalism. She is also the founder-editor of Mojo and the driving force behind We the Women, a platform championing important gender conversations. Ma'am, can we have you on the stage? Please join me in welcoming Ms. Isha Goyal, CEO, Stick Travel Group. A second-generation industry leader, Isha Goyal leads Stick Travel Group, one of India's leading travel representation companies. An alumnus of the Indian School of Business, she has strengthened Stick's position across aviation, cruise, and travel services. Welcome, Isha. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Ranju Alex, CEO, Accor South Asia. With over 3 decades in hospitality, Ms. Alex leads Accor's strategic growth across South Asia. She is recognized globally for her people-first leadership and was recently honored with the prestigious Bharat Gaurav Award in the UK. Welcome, ma'am. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Yumi Talwar, COO South Asia VFS Global. With over 2 decades at VFS Global, Ms. Yumi has led operations across South Asia, the Middle East, and Europe, driving operational excellence in global visa and consular services. Welcome, ma'am. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Aarti Manocha, founder, Milestones to Memories. Ms. Aarti is a trailblazing entrepreneur with over 28 years in travel and event management. Founder of Milestones to Memories, she is known for curating luxury destination weddings and experiential events across the world. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Surbhi Rana, Head Aero Commercial Noida International Airport. An international airport professional accredited by ACI and ICAO, Ms. Surbhi Rana brings over 15 years of expertise in airport business management and route development. She currently leads Aero Commercial Strategy at Noida International Airport. May we have a round of applause for all our speakers, please. Thank you. The floor is all yours now.
Thank you very much. Are you all able to hear me at the back? Good morning, everyone. Just before we start this conversation, on a personal note, I'm partially from a travel and trade family myself. My father worked in Air India for many years before we lost him to COVID. My mother was a journalist. So I've grown up around conversations about travel, trade, tourism, and communication. So it's a great pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me. What we're going to do over the next, we have a little over an hour, is that while I'll start the conversation with our panelists, I would like to hear as much as possible from the floor, from all of you. So let's keep this as interactive as possible. I urge all of you to listen and to take part, to ask questions, and to share your experiences as well. So I think we have a mic on the floor. Yeah, okay, great. So Isha, let me start with you. And actually I'll ask the same question to all of you. Tourism by its definition, or travel by its definition, is meant to be an inclusive space. How inclusive is it for leadership roles when it comes to women?
Hi. Pleasure to be here, firstly. Thank you, Priyanka and Gunjan, for including me in this conversation. Travel, I think we are, it's an interesting question. So on the face of it, we're really blessed because we are one industry where you have a lot of women, right? The hospitality tourism space, hotels, travel agencies, tour operators, right? So there are a lot of women, and we do increasingly see more and more women in leadership roles. The other reason why we see a lot of women also is because the travel industry has a lot of family businesses. So there are privileged people like me who are second generation or third generation and have the privilege of taking over the mantle. But jokes apart, I think it's inclusive in the sense that women are welcome to the workspace, but there is a deeper, darker layer, if I may, get to the darker side of things up front, where women, unless they have a community that protects them, are often exposed to a lot of subtle exploitation. And women are exposed to a lot of you know, in the tourism and hospitality spaces, we travel a lot. We
Yeah.
go on FAMs. We interact cross-industry. And sometimes we have protection within the community. It could be a male colleague who's looking out for us. But a lot of times, young women don't.
So when you speak of possible exploitation, in what forms? Safety is an obvious, personal safety,
Personal
space
safety,
is an obvious
yeah.
form. But a number of women in the travel tourism sector are also not necessarily in formalized roles, right?
Yes.
Many of them are in informal roles. So when you talk about exploitation, do you also mean in terms of wage structure or economic security? Or do you mean mostly in terms of physical safety and personal space?
Well, I mean a little bit of both. So, not so much economic security. So, one, of course, personal safety and security. I think that's a topic I've often heard discussed at cocktail hours and dinner tables and
Yeah,
industry events in my last 20 years of being in the business. But I think coming back to your question on leadership, more than economic security, I think it is about recognition as well. And it is changing. It's changed tremendously from when I started out back in 2004. And we have this fantastic panel of leaders who are, you know, rock stars in each of their realms. And it has changed. But yes, a lot of times women who are not tempering their personalities are just stereotyped.
So are you
And
saying,
therefore sidelined.
are you saying that even today, and I want to open this up, but I'll start with you and then we'll go to Yumi. Are you saying that even today you have to tone down a version of yourself? You have to be a quieter version, a less ambitious version, a less driven, a less out there version? You want to draw less attention to yourself?
Sometimes it's also the opposite. I'll take my example. When I'm operating in international space, I feel like I have to be a lot more aggressive sometimes because I'm by nature an introvert. I have to push myself to be an aggressive version of myself I'm not necessarily comfortable with, so that the men in the room see me as an equal.
So, I mean, if it's any consolation, this is something that women battle across professions. But Yumi, if I may bring you in, and before you answer, let me actually have a show of hands. I think Isha has sparked a very important conversation right at the beginning, and thank you for that. Those of you who have felt a certain vulnerability on account of your gender, or have had, or feel that you've had to work outside of your personality to be noticed and heard, please raise your hand. Please raise your hand. So, we don't see a lot of hands, so I don't know if you're hesitating or if the majority of you have actually had a very happy experience. So we'll open that up and find out. What about you? How tough has it been for you personally?
Well, it's been tough, and I think all of us agree that women have to work much harder to kind of fill up those leadership spaces. And as I was talking to Ranju also here, and especially in my industry or in the travel or hotels or VFS, if I take an example, it's a global organization. We are present across 160 odd countries, right? So if you have to grow, then you have to take positions which is outside of your comfort zone.
For example?
For example, if you're comfortable in Delhi managing, South Asia, you might be transferred to another region like the Middle East or Africa. So, I mean, personally for me, I sort of took those risks. Not every woman can take those risks and opportunities. I moved to Middle East as a regional head, so it takes courage because you're not sitting in Dubai and managing the region. You're actually going to Saudi, Iran, Iraq, which I did, Jordan, Lebanon, especially in today's context, how volatile that market is.
Yeah.
So I had to take those risks. Otherwise, I don't think I would have grown to a level what I am today. I had to take those risks, move, family, disrupt your life in order to get that growth. So
How did your family react? Because, sometimes I find that we talk so much about equality at work, we forget to talk about equality at home. Until there is actually equality at home, I have seen women fall out of the workforce, really brilliant, talented women stopping to work because the pressures at home are just so acute. So, when you actually had to keep moving, which is typically and traditionally what a woman has done in earlier years, following her partner around the globe, around the country, how did your family react when you had to keep moving?
Well, I think I was lucky.
Yeah.
And also, one, of course, luck, but others, it's also about your own,
Personality
perspective,
and beliefs.
right? So, I mean, of course, my perspective was I want to grow, I want to contribute, and I mean, it makes me happy. So, the family was, of course, very supportive. My father-in-law, you see, parents, I come from Darjeeling, so my parents don't even understand that, to be honest. You know, we grew up, even I have only sisters, my sister is a doctor, and we grew up in a family where I didn't even know the divide of
So
gender or a
matriarchal
girl
societies,
child or a boy child. We didn't have boys in our house, but we never felt it. Actually, only when I came to the cities and, and we grew up in the 80s and, not much of social media or whatever. So I came from a family, that kind of a background. So I think when I got married to a Punjabi family, I think the expectation was
different.
not different. That helped. Because sometimes if you're an outsider, they are perhaps more, they're more adaptable. You don't, okay, she's from the Northeast, you don't expect her to be like a Punjabi. And of course, my husband, very supportive. We met in my first job, so he knew what kind of, what work ethics I had and what ambitions I had. So if you fall in love with a person like that, you expect that throughout your life, right? So there was no expectations. And my father-in-law, being from an army background,
Knew
they were
what
pretty
it
much
meant
diverse.
to keep moving.
Yeah, so I think that helped.
But you know,
for me.
you mean not everybody
Not
is that
absolutely.
lucky. Oftentimes, your partner doesn't understand what your work takes of you. If your partner does, your family does. The rest of your family doesn't. Those of you or those of us who choose to have children or not have children, there are other pressures that come with that. And Ranju, the fact is that I would still not have to ask a man this question. And I actually hate asking women about their home lives. But unfortunately, the female labor force participation numbers, put very simply, how many women in India work in the formal sector, these numbers have been taking a hit over the years. And you wouldn't think it, today you see women. I just finished a big conclave called We the Women, and I was interviewing women who fly fighter jets, women who go into combat. Sorry? No, it's actually there. I'm holding the mic really close. If you can just increase my speaker volume or maybe give me a different mic. Can you hear me at the back? Yeah, okay. So I'm saying I just finished a big We the Women conclave, and at one level you're interviewing women who are flying fighter jets, going into war zones. So you would think the things are changing, but when you look at it statistically, women today, especially in urban India, are finding it tougher to keep both their job and their home lives. So, I just think that that's a very real challenge for women, unfortunately, very unfairly. Not something men have to go through. So when you hear Isha and Yumi say that they've had these personal challenges, what is yours?
So my life's been very filmy, if I may say so.
Okay.
I come from a Bihari Brahmin family. And whilst my parents were very progressive and wanted all of us to study, my sister went on to become a doctor. My brother is an IIT graduate, and I was the third one. And I remember after my 10th exam, my father sat me down, one evening to have this very serious conversation. And whilst we would speak in Hindi at home, when serious conversations would happen, it was always in English. So when he started speaking English, I knew it was serious. And he said, what do you want to do? Because 11th and 12th, you have to pick up your subjects. What's your dream? I said, I want to marry Amir Khan. And I think he fell off the chair because QSQT had just released. I was in love with a man. Had I known I had a chance even today, I would have probably waited. So that's, I said, I don't want to do engineering and medicine, but I don't know what I want to do. It was not okay for you to say, I don't know what to do. So anyway, 12th happened. Unfortunately, I had a very bad neurological disorder where I had 6 tumors in my brain, and I had 6 in the body, and I was just given a very limited time to live. I lived through that. I was all of 18. I was in hospital for 2.5 years, through brain surgeries and stuff like that. So life changed after that. When I came out, thank you, I was all of 100
And hang on, how old were you when you had these surgeries?
18. 18. Yes.
So you learned resilience and battle very early.
Very early on to the point, Barkha, I remember I was in Vellore Hospital, CMC Vellore, and I was out of a surgery and the doctors had given me 48 hours. And I was in and out of sedation. And I had a very dur ka mamaji who had come to see me, so-called, to give me his wishes. And my mom's crying and he's telling her, why are you spending so much of money on her? She is a girl, right? And I don't blame him because that's the background he came from. My parents were very progressive, so don't get me wrong. I was born in a very strong household. But I started fighting my battles from then. So when 12th, and then I was not allowed to study because of my brain pressure. I still have 3 tumors in my brain, by the way. I live with that, and I have no problems. I look after my health, and I'm good, so no sympathies. Don't want any sympathies. So when 12th happened, my father said, why don't you join hotels? If you don't know what to do, you can't study. Obviously, engineering and medicine is out of the scene. And my mom, she jumped. She said, her first thing was, koi shaadi nahi karega. Anyway, living with 3 tumors in the brain, then being a hotelier, Bihari girl, she said, koi shaadi nahi karega isse. That was the first thing that happened. Anyway, I went on to give the exam, got through. My father was like, go girl.
So you took the hotel management exam?
Course, yes.
Course, yeah.
And my father was like, go girl, go do what you have to. God's given you a second chance of life. And then you realize that in hotels, women are so typecast, right? I went on, of course, to fall in love with my husband. He's a Malayali Catholic, so again, everybody said, ye to, you know, I was never the model girl. I was a rebel through and through. And then when you got into hotels, you were not the quintessential, tall, fair, beautiful girl who gets into hotels. I was just the opposite. Even today, when I'm CEO, in a plane, when I open my laptop, it says Accor, right? Or earlier I was with Marriott, and it said Marriott. And people have this habit of peering, right? And someone will ask you, you work with hotels? Yes, sir. Reception? First question, is reception? No, I'm not in the reception. Sales? And then you say, just to shut down the conversation, you say, no, I'm CEO. And after that, there's pin drop silence. No one utters a word. You will see that man shrinking in his seat. My question is, why do we have to put women in a box, especially in this industry?
So, firstly, I don't know what happened to your love affair with Amir Khan, but he should make a movie on you, whether or not he has an affair with you. More seriously, firstly, kudos to you. I think we can have a big round of applause for what we've heard on stage. Beyond the personal courage of your life journey, the typecasting you talk about is so important. And you know, it happens in my profession as well. I'm a first generation television journalist, and when I became a journalist, it didn't matter, you know, what your makeup was or how you were dressed, or it mattered, you know, the quality of your work, the courage of your conviction mattered. But increasingly over the years, I have seen a kind of stereotyping. I have heard horror stories of some women being told you have to weigh a certain way, you have to look a certain way, and it is awful. And I think this typecasting that has, even with all of your authority and success, still follows you. What have you done to change it in the spaces that you can alter?
First of all, on a personal level, I have raised a daughter who's in hotels. I have raised a son who will support his wife till the hilt, because he's seen his mother achieve a lot of milestones because his dad was a supportive one. I think it starts with home. At work, I've joined Accor 5 months back. I have hired 4 women GMs already. I have women who come to me and who say, I left my job because I delivered a baby. And I'm like, so, please come back. We'll give you part-time jobs. We will give you online jobs. Come back, right? I also feel personal stories like Isha, Yumi, everybody here, I think they matter so much. We should have more events like this where personal stories are shared, because nothing works better than hearing women who have swum against the tide and still done so well. Barkha, you are an icon. I mean, today we looked at you in the TVs when we were not, you know, high enough to be sitting here. You've inspired millions. Look at your story. Look at and I can tell you, every woman in pink who's turned up today, here, I was telling somebody, has a spirit of red in them today. Spirit of red, and that's what we should always cheer each other. And sisterhood, I think Priyanka said so well, I think we have to raise each other. So to your question, what am I doing? I'm hiring women and trying to inspire as many women as possible.
Thank you. Thank you for those inspiring and also kind words. Let me come to Aarti. Aarti, we've heard very deeply personal stories here, and we've spoken a lot about hiring women, women in authority, vulnerabilities of women. I think there's also some need to maybe give a man who wants to be a hands-on father the same flexi time that we're ready to be ready to give a female employee, because I keep coming back to the fact that we've got to get to the root of the problem. And the root of the problem is that dur ka mama ji who felt ki ye ladki hai, to, you know. The root of the problem is social. The root of the problem has to start. We have to ask those questions at home. We have to challenge those stereotypes at home. We can keep challenging them at work, but without our homes being equal spaces for us, it's not going to work. So share your story.
Firstly, thank you guys for Gunjan and Priyanka for having me here, and I'm so honored to be on this panel. Thank you. Barkha, you've always been an inspiration. So honestly, this personally means a milestone to me to begin with. I come from a Punjabi family, very traditional family. My father's dream was to see his daughters married. And I think I got married at 21. I was a mother at 22. And work, when I started work, was a need. I didn't know I'm passionate. I didn't know I'm ambitious. It was a need.
So did you start work after marriage?
No, I started at 18. So my dad went through a massive heart attack, and he was almost declared dead, and then, but he was, you know, with an open heart surgery, and that time things used to be taking so long. So we kind of lost a lot of our, you know, wealth, and we were 4 children, 4 siblings. My mom was a homemaker. My elder sister, she kind of, you know, took charge and kind of wore the pants and went out. She's a teacher. She does brilliantly well. She lives in Australia now. So she started, and looking at her, I said, I have to also do. Our other 2 siblings were much younger, so we had to take care of them. So it started as a need. It started with me doing paper correction for coaching classes because my sister used to teach there. From there, I decided to get into travel, and I did a travel tourism course, and I started doing front work, you know, frontline, making itineraries, doing hotel bookings. That's how my travel journey started. What I realize is that when we talk of, you know, sustaining yourself and the need is there, that time nothing matters. I think when the problem hits your home and you have to just survive, you forget everything. And I think we, as in the 2 older sisters in the family, we've operated in our male instincts so much. You know, the survival mode was always on that. I think somewhere I feel that I could cut the noise very easily. I could just keep moving because my goal and aim was very clear that I have to bring the status of my family to the next level. That's it. You know? I went to college only up to 12th, and then I did correspondence while I was working. I did not complete my graduation because I was married then, I had a child already. And then, since then, whatever I have learned, wherever I am, has only been learning on the job.
Can I ask you something from your personal experience of having been married at such a young age, not having been able to complete your education? What should that teach us today? Like, I feel that one of the problems that continues today is that we set marriage as a goal before we set ambition as a goal for our daughters. And, you know, of course, everybody has to make their personal choice vis-a-vis marriage and their personal relationships. I'm not advocating one way or the other. But there's so much pressure on, in some families, continues to be, on marriage as the first goal. And I'm just wondering, as somebody who got married very young, I don't know if you have a daughter, if you have children at all.
I have 2.
You have 2 daughters?
No, I have a son and a daughter.
Okay, so even more interesting. And by the way, I'd say the same thing even for boys. Like, if there was a boy getting married at 18, I would say the same thing. I would be like, let him find himself first. Do you believe that this societal premium that we have placed on marriage ahead of people's professions is part of the problem?
It's a very big problem. And while for the longest time I held this as a not a very happy space with my parents, but today I think back and I feel that's the best they knew. That was love. That's what was the best thing they wanted for me and their children.
In their understanding
In
of...
their understanding, in their exposure, in their world.
Yeah, not to blame parents.
Yeah.
But if you had to do this today...
No, today if you ask me, I've raised my children very differently.
Yeah.
And I think it works both ways, you know. Sometimes you just adapt to becoming what you've seen and grown up to.
Yeah.
And sometimes you decide that all of that which I felt did not work for me should not be done. So I kind of took that route, and I have 2 grown-ups now. My son's 25, my daughter's 20, because I was a young mother.
Yeah.
And I think, like Ranju said, what I'm teaching my son is how to really take care of women. And when I say take care of women, I think where I see, unfortunately, the Indian men failing a lot is to be able to take care of the woman in entirety, emotionally, what she brings on the table, what she is all about. Just listen. Sometimes that listening is also not there.
I think the best thing men in our lives could do for women is to let us be. I think more than, you know, being looked after, what women seek is the freedom to be just themselves and to find out who that me is. So let me thank you for sharing. I think what's incredible is we're hearing really personal stories, and I thank all the women on the stage for doing that. I want to come to Surabhi. It is exhausting. One of the things we haven't mentioned is how exhausting it is to be perennially in a state of battle, in a state of adjustment, in a state of juggling 10 balls in the air. Our advertising culture doesn't make it any easier. I always say that this idea of the superwoman is the biggest trap that advertisers have created. No human being should have to be superhuman, man or woman. But if you look at our ads, you'll always see a perfectly turned out woman in a crisp pink sari, no offense to the color pink, with a string of pearls and the sunlight streaming through the windows, and she's closing $1 billion deal, and then the phone will ring and they say, Mem Saab, aaj khane mein kya banana hai? And she has to do it all, and she has to look after her kids' homework, and she has to look after her parents, and she has to look after her in-laws, and she has to manage a career. Nobody should be expected to do everything. Nobody. Battle is exhausting. We don't talk enough about how much these journeys sometimes take from us. So please do share your journey.
Barka, I think this is a very fantastic point that you had put forth. My only submission is, why can't we be like free birds? Whatever,
Like free birds?
yes.
I like
whatever
that.
we want to do, We should be able to do it openly. Whether today I want to dress all spick and span, the other day I want to dress, all flowy, messy hair. That's the way I want to be. I don't have to be in the pressure of, my parents, my in-laws, my husband, my neighbors, the society, the office. I don't have to fit in that, their definition of how I should look. And that is the most important thing, I think, since the childhood, I have sort of, followed. And, we most of the times take our parents for granted, right? I have taken my parents for granted many times. Now they are no more. But the other day I was in some hotel with friends, and we had this palmist seated over there. And just for fun, we were like, okay, chalo haath dikhate hain. I don't believe in that, but it's like, okay, let's see, what this guy is going to tell. He saw my hand, he saw the lines, and then he told one thing. You were never raised like a woman, like a female. Your parents always treated you like the men, like the boy in the family. And that hit me very hard, because till then I never differentiated between, how a boy needs to be treated in a family vis-a-vis a girl. So that was, one of the most important things that, got nurtured. Yeah. That's how I grew. And surprisingly, and by grace of God, once I got married, actually I got a family where, I got that ecosystem which was, again, treating me in the same manner. So I think the earlier point that you mentioned about, typecasting, about the societal expectations, that is something which actually limit our entire horizon, which actually brings us down. And that is something, I think that's where, we need to take charge of things. I think given the social media, given, the way we interact right now, we have more free flow information available. And we can also impart that awareness session to others to basically tell them that, look, it is not about being typecasted. I'm a very conservative person in terms of, I'm not a conservative, but I'll say I'm a very reserved person, right? Earlier in my career, I was being told, oh, you're very shy. If I told someone, oh, look, I don't want to wear what the other person is suggesting, oh, you don't hear us. Yeah. This is actually typecasting. And frankly speaking, I was like, okay, I don't care. You speak whatever you want.
Yeah. I think it's so important what you say about being able to communicate what we've all learned from lived experiences. So I want to ask all of you, and I'll start the other way down the panel. I'll start with you, Surabhi. If there's something that living life has taught you that you did not know, let's say, 25 years ago, what would that be? I'm going to ask all of you that. If there's something you've learned from living that actually challenged one of your own beliefs about yourself, what would that be?
Earlier, okay, when I was interacting with, the friends, the community, the society, even if I never wanted, those pressures were coming in, right? So somehow, again, there was, a mismatch between, what I'm thinking versus what is being expected. So again and again, there was this turmoil, those internal moments of, self-doubts, a question mark used to come. I think now it is more about, okay, let it be. If you want me to sit like this, but I'm comfortable seated like this, I want to sit like this. So
you're living less by other people's opinions of you?
Yes.
Aarti?
I think one of the things that clearly was a turning point for me was to learn and to unlearn more than learn. Yes. I adapted unlearning as a big factor which came to me through certain experiences.
What did you have to unlearn?
See, I unlearned a lot of my own beliefs had to be released. you know, because I think deep down we all have such beliefs that become rock solid below, and we think this is it, this is the right way. And there's nothing wrong about it, but at the same time, there's probably something better that you can adapt, you know. And for that, you got to unlearn. For that, you got to release. And I think that is something I did as recent as 5 years ago. And that changed a lot of things for me, including I could shed a lot of weight. I went into a lifestyle change. I did a lot of things that kind of changed me as a person from what I felt I was becoming, you know. And one more important thing, which is again related to the same thing, is that we limit ourselves in our own head. You know, limitation is all here, you know, so sky is the limit. So sometimes what we are really thinking and feeling is that somebody is stopping you, you know, it's all society, it's all probably, but actually
It's within us.
within us. You take that step, you make that, take that path, and I think things start
Yeah.
kind of unfolding.
You know, I agree totally, but this business about it being within ourselves, it is within ourselves, but it's also we're products of a cultural conditioning. And there's so many inputs. It's our school, our peer groups, our movies, our advertisements, social media. So many things condition our mind. You've had a very different journey as a young woman, so my question to you would be very different. Because you've been battling since you were 18. If there's something that experience taught you, that you apply to the rest of life, what would it be?
I think the one lesson I learned and continue to, I'm 54 now, continue to bat on is it's actually fun
Yeah,
swimming against the tide.
it is.
It's actually fun. It's fun to see people squirm. It's fun to go look them in the eye and say, I could do it. And I'll give you one, again, a very personal example. I was working with Oberoi Hotels for 17 years. And Marriott approached me for a job. And it was my first interview with an owner. So my CV goes first, and of course there's a photograph.
Yeah.
And I have this interview, and I'm wearing the prettiest sari possible with red lipstick and all of that Mr. Oberoi had taught us. And I'm sitting there, and the person who's supposed to give the final nod whether he wants me as a general manager in his hotel, it's the owner, not Marriott, walks in and says, oh, so where's Alex? And I'm like staring back at him, and I'm like, I'm Ranju Alex? And he says, oh, I thought you were a man. And in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, my hairstyle might have given him that impression in the photograph or whatever. So I just shrug, and he says, I don't want a woman. And very crass way of saying, he says, I don't want a woman. I don't believe they become good GMs. And he just walks out.
Wow.
And having come from Oberoi Hotels, where Mr. Oberoi really advocated women, it was a shocker to me. And I remember the person from Marriott, my boss, who really helped me build my career, says, he was offended as well. And he says, I'll just come back. And they both walk out of the room. He comes back in silence, and I said, okay, chalo, ye naukri nahi mili. Okay? And then we sit in the car, and he gives my offer letter and says, welcome to the family.
Yeah.
And I say, what happened? He said, don't ask me. 2 years later, I won the Global Best GM Award. And I got the award from Indira Nooyi and Bill Clinton on stage.
Well done.
And I remember coming back, and the same gentleman coming to me and telling my boss, she's the best we ever had. No, it was not an ego play for me. But just that, after that, they have hired 2 women. And I feel it's so good to look them in the eye and say, hey, listen, we are good. And there's a line waiting, behind me. So go and get everybody that chance. It's so good.
That story also tells me that sometimes we hate a certain environment. We hate what's said to us, Yumi, but we take the opportunity. And I think taking the opportunity is an undervalued lesson. So if that's a lesson or any other lesson that you've learned personally.
Yeah, I agree because you see, I think the limitations, sometimes we set limitations to ourselves and think that, okay, I don't know how many of you have felt, but a lot of women do feel, but I'm a woman, maybe they will not give me this position, or I think that is not the location that they will put me because I'm a woman. I think these are some things which we put limitations in ourselves because you've not actually, nobody's told you, or it's just a narrative that you've built yourself. I think over the years what I have learned is don't have these limitations and narratives. When you actually go out and say, okay, I want that and I'm willing to go there, they listen. I mean, I think sometimes the myth is on the other side also. She's a woman, she has family, she may not want to take this, or she may not want to move here or
underestimation
travel.
of your ambition, basically.
Yeah. So there is a narrative on the other side also about women. So I think that's what we need to break.
Yeah.
And then show those pathways to other women. At least like in my organization, I think I have moved from region to region. Maybe one of the first women to actually work across the regions and move. So kind of others started that. And I would encourage, I said, why? Say, my last regional head, she was in Chennai and she's been working in Chennai for, 20, 25 years. And I encouraged her to move to Washington, D.C. Her first thing was, Yumi, she's a Tamilian, sari clad. But Washington, D.C., they may not take me. So there was a role there. I said, no, why not? You must apply and you must, because you're great at your work. What is it? It's not about how you look or, what culture you come from. You're going to add value to that region tremendously, more than the others. So you must apply. And she actually got through and she went. So I said, stick there. Don't, get into the pressure and say, I want to come back to India. I'm not going to take you back for the next 4 years.
Well done.
Kind of prove yourself there.
I think this business of tough love is an important one, and I think we haven't spoken about it enough. You have to be supportive, but sometimes you have to be tough, as Yumi was, in the sense of showing women that there is more that can be achieved, right? There is, I always say to my team, like I moved from television to being an entrepreneur, and I always say to my team, you have to have a bigger ambition for yourself. And I think sometimes our ambitions as women are too small. Either we hesitate to have a bigger dream, or we think humse hoga hi nahi, or we think hame koi karne hi nahi dega, so on and so forth. So just before I open this up, Isha, your own life journey on something that, living life taught you that you wouldn't have thought is possible.
So I have a very personal example.
Yeah.
And of course in general as well. Personal example is this. I started in the family business in 2004. COVID struck in 2020, and a little known fact is that my husband moved to Singapore in 2016. So I used to make him shuttle every weekend, bless his soul. When COVID struck, we were stuck in Singapore. Thankfully, we were all together. And I would have never imagined that I could run a business. We're a pan-India operation. We're a small business, but we operate in 14 cities in India. I would have never imagined I'd be able to pull off having a home in Singapore and running a business in India. So when COVID struck, we had to take a call where to be as a family. And I chose to admit my son in a school in Singapore. And to this day, we're in 2026 now. It's been 6 years. Some people know in the industry, most people don't, that for me, home and family is Singapore. I have struggled to do that, to one, be vocal about it. Initially, there was even within my family, my parents are the most supportive parents one could have. So I'm really blessed and privileged. But even they, for a second, were like, log kya bolenge? Second generation. My dad has faced this his entire career, that he has 2 girls who's going to take over the business. And in our small business, there is competition. They're all boys. So one always questions our ability to take this legacy forward. And I said to them, I'm not going to hide. I'm not going to pretend to be someone I'm not. I'm very proud of the fact that I have a supportive ecosystem in Singapore that allows me to be in India as much as I am. I'm very proud of the team of people that we're nurturing and building the culture we have that allow me to do it. And at the end of the day, we're not a shop, we're a company. We're trying to build management so we can do this. And it's been 6 years, the business is more successful than it has been for a very long time. So I'm proud of that personally and grateful. But I think at large, to your question on how have we, encouraged tough love and how do we face it? A lot of times, industry questions us as well, right? Industry questions us, women question us as well. Of course, I've had men ask me what I'm doing with my kids, how do you manage, and people often say, I don't know how you do it. I do it because I have to. Right? And that's the tough love I get from industry. So, like I say, I'm privileged and blessed because it's my own setup, so I can champion myself. It's very easy. But the reality is industry gives you a lot of tough love. People look at you and say, you must have a good team that allows you to do this. Of course, I have a fabulous team, but it's a team that we've nurtured together, but it's also because I do have to work harder. It's the reality of being who we are. Yeah. And the superwoman piece is, of course, it's terrible. Yeah. Nobody should have to live up to it. The reality is, I'm not a superwoman. They say it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a large, massive village to be who we are, to be who I am, my father, my husband, all the women and men in my life. And, it's because of that. But yeah, it's, I've learned from my mom, who had to be a business leader because she wanted to support my dad, and they were in love in the 70s and 80s. So I learned from her to be a tough, I had a great role model. So I just didn't know any other way to do it. Yeah.
Well, these have been incredible sort of sharings, I would say. And I think that's what it's about, right? It's actually about being willing to go beyond those 4 things that are said in every speech and actually be willing to share something personal. I'm going to open this up now. If you have a question for one of the panelists, if you have a story of your own, an experience of your own to share. Yes, ma'am. We'll start here. Ma'am, if you could stand, I think we can get you the mic. Hanji.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Rajni, and I'm the Doubletree Hilton Agra. That's a bit of a plug for the hotel. But celebrating women in tourism, it's been about 25 years that I started my journey. And I have 2 things. I have a little bit of observation to answer to your question, what has changed? Yeah. What has changed is financial acumen to become business leaders is a definite have to have today. We are not pretty people. We're business leaders. So that's
we're not only pretty people, we're also pretty people.
We're not pretty people. Nobody asks a man, are you handsome? So there should be no expectation for me to be pretty.
I'm saying you are
glorious.
Pretty.
Darling, I'm glorious.
Exactly.
I get that.
That's my point.
No, but very, very critical to be acumen, a business savvy woman, so that the gender never comes into the conversation. So that's the first thing that's changed from 25 years to today. So as Ranju said, the tonality of your skin or your hair shouldn't matter. You do you. Yeah. That's what I say. Yeah. And the second thing, for those of you who are listening to me, because again, I'm also a woman leader in my own right, it is okay to be not okay. You want to take a break? Take a break. You want to have a baby? Have a baby. You want to sit down and say, I'm tired, today I'm going to wear flats and not heels? That's fine. You want to leave your husband? Go ahead. Do you. Whatever that you need to do is what I say. The third thing, please mentor another woman. We are overthinkers of the highest nature. In my head, I'm always thinking I'm failing today. So support that woman and give her a hug because she's having her periods. She's wondering, am I fat today? Is my stomach bulging out? We don't care. We really don't care. Your brains matter, your acumen matters, your people matter, and that's it. So that's that.
That was pretty fabulous. So thank you for that. I want to pick up one point to just one person for a brief comment. financial acumen. I hate gender generalizations, but the one gender generalization that continues to be a product of cultural conditioning is women do not ask for enough money for themselves. Do you all agree? No. If you agree, raise your hand. Okay, it's a 50-50. Anyone here thinks, okay, it's a 40-60? Okay. Anyone here thinks that's still something we need to be better at? Ranju, you want to take that?
Well, I must say, I gave Accor a very hard time when I was negotiating. But it's true. It's true. Women, when you're hiring a woman, she's more worried about how far is it from home, and rightly so. What are the timings? And if my child goes unwell, would you give me work from home? Money is the last thing that she asks for. Having said that, when a woman asks for more money, I know what the man opposite is thinking, which is again. But having said that, from where my mom came from, or her mom came from, we walked a long path. We really walked a long path. So I think we're getting there.
Okay. Anybody else? Yes.
Hi,
could you stand so we could see you? Yes.
I know I'm a little short, so I'll stand as well. Good afternoon. Thank you, Gunjan and Priyanka, for having us over. So just to confirm, Barka has been my mentor. She was my first lady boss. One unconventional woman on the floor, shouting at the men, giving them a hard time at NDTV was something that I started my career with. And till date, there are a lot of people, so I consider myself an outsider because I come from a corporate background and I'm trying to still adjust myself. And I will definitely agree to the fact that you need to really be okay with going completely opposite to the swing. Unless you do that, a lot of people here tell me, oh, look at the energy that you have. One, that's a Sadarni standing. Two, that's coming from a lot of good mentorship. We've got Tekla ma'am here. We've got a lot of people here in the industry who've really handled. So I'll agree to her when she says that, you really need to not be leaders, just be leaders. Pick up a woman, pick up a lady who's wanting to get there, she might have her drawbacks, she might have her insecurities. I lost my father about 21 years back. So, in a world full of men saying, oh, this girl, she's not from the industry, she knows nothing about the trade, how is she making it? How is she trying? The only thing that's keeping me alive is that I'm trying. The only thing I'm doing every day is not give up. Look at people like you, look at people here, irrespective of the seniority and leadership. I think one thing we need to do is not stop trying. So once you...
No, I was just going to say the most important thing in life is to keep showing up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think today I'm working under a woman who's actually the epitome of, womanhood. She's somebody who's 45 years in the industry. She stands up and she says, okay, pull women together. This is again my message to everybody, saying that definitely we need to make SheForShe is a perfect title. Gunjan, Priyanka, hats off. I think we definitely need to have more of these sessions. For sure.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else from the floor? Yes, here in the front. Ma'am, could you stand so that we could all... Yeah, we can see you, but I think the back...
Good morning, everyone. And thanks, Gunjan and Priyanka, for having us all here. My God, trust me, it's such a wonderful moment to see so many women around here talking about their success stories and talking about what all we all go through in our lives. And Miss Alex, I would say Miss Alex, your story is very, very inspiring. I also come from a family. I lost my father when I was a kid, raised by a single woman, having 4 daughters, 1 son, and life was tough. And going through that journey, we lost our father and we were like grown up overnight. Now you know that you have to take care of yourself. And then life is going on and on and on and on. And in today's time, when I look back, I hear this from a lot of women around me that I've been inspiring a lot of them, because in COVID, I lost my husband. My husband was someone who taught me everything. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little emotional, but when I talk about him, it happens with me all the time. He was kind of a person I have never seen someone like him. So encouraging. Whatever I am today, I'm not saying I've, got the stars and touched the moon or everything, but whatever I am, it's all because of him. So guys, I think we all should just encourage women around us. And there's one more very important thing I would like to highlight here. We are promoting a destination USA. Okay, and in our destination, we all of us are women. Wherever we go, do our destination presentations. We are 5, 6 of us. When we do the presentations, when we are standing on the stage, the kind of appreciation we receive and the way people respond, and they come to us, they say such good things to us. It is very, very, very impressive to see how people are encouraged. Even men, for that matter. I mean, we hear a lot of good things, from men around us. So guys, I know SheForShe, but I think we should also say a big thank you to men around us, those who are encouraging us, and those who are always standing by our side. So that's my story, because I am highly, highly, highly impressed with my husband, who's not anymore, who's not there with me, but still encouraging me every day. So to all the women, SheForShe, and thank you so much for having all of us. And Barkha ma'am, I'm a huge fan of yours.
Thank you.
I get this compliment a lot of times, I don't know, because of my haircut or what.
You have
so
my
like,
hair.
oh, she's like, copy of her.
Thank
so
you.
thank you so much.
Thank you. Bless you.
Thank you.
On a lighter note, I must
have my
say,
hair too?
No,
Yeah.
no. I guess we're all the same genre. But I must say, my mom was never happy about me joining hotels. The only time she recognized my career is when I got the Bharat Gaurav Award. And today in the morning, I told her I'll be on the same panel as Barkha Dutt. Oh, so I could see the admiration. I think she thinks I've arrived in life.
Aw. Thank you for that. Okay, yes.
I think I'm the last one, since we're all running late on time.
Can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? Is that better? Yeah. So good afternoon, everyone. It has been a beautiful listening to all of you. Some of you I know personally, and the others who I haven't known too well. It's been great to hear all that you said. I think one of the biggest takeaway, which I'm so glad is coming out, is the generational trauma that we are all passing on by being the superwomen. It's almost traumatic when the kids see that, how perfectly you want to run the house, you want to look perfect, and then you want to work perfectly. It's like, when you're at work, you are supposed to not remember you have home. And when you're at home, you're not supposed to know or remember what you're outside. So glad that we're discussing this outside. So I am Priyanka, and I run Nijavan representation. My company has a large number of women colleagues. And I always, and 2 of them are here today, Lata and Mridangi. And I keep telling them, because we do a lot of work from home. Saturdays became work from home because my Bangalore team suddenly had a lot of mums, and we realized we need to do this. And I keep telling, the seniors on my team that I'm so much more comfortable when a woman asks for work from home, because when we give them work from home, I know that they're being able to balance, they're taking that time balancing work, balancing, and home. Whereas and of course we've had those incidences which was very recent, and I think I put it somewhere, where I got a request from one of the male colleagues saying that he's got a small baby and his wife needs to go to work, so he needs work from home. So I said, okay, good. So this woman is not in my organization, but we are definitely helping her. So, and like we are all saying that we must all support each other. And I think the last thing I want to end with is, and which we keep discussing, we are bringing up our women, but what is missing is to bring up the boys who are ready for these women. We make our women independent, we make our girls strong, and then we have boys who we are not training to handle these women, and that's where the problem comes. And then recently there have been all these talks about mamas, boys, and the boys are also accepting that, how their mums are training. And I can very proudly say my 21-year-old who's studying in the US, my daughter, and I was talking to her and she commented, she said, Mom, I think I like the mamas boys. And I was like, why? Mom, they really respect women. So kudos to all of us who are bringing up these boys who are truly not only mamas, but the world, they're taking care of the women in the world. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. I want some quick reactions from our panel. In the meantime, hang on. In the meantime, can I have the mic move to the back of the room because I'm not able to see right till the last row. But if we have a mic there, it would be useful. I want to pick up this idea of flexi hours. I think, so here's a challenge for leaders. If you're going to offer flexi hours to women, should you not be also offering them to men? The other thing that was said about work-life, I'm not going to get into the work-life balance debate, but I think the separations between work and the rest of life are not neat. And that's what I always say to my team, that look, there are days I'm going to take my work home, and there are days I'm going to bring my home to work. And I think good managers understand that. You don't look for those neat compartments. But I want to come to this idea of flexi hours. To create a gender inclusive, but also a gender friendly work environment, I actually think we should be encouraging men who want to take their kid to the doctor, who want to attend the PTA meeting. It takes the burden off women having to carry that responsibility alone. So just quick reactions to that while we get the mic to the back of the room. Isha?
So we've actually debated this a lot in our organization post-COVID. And we've taken what we believe is a gender-neutral approach. Flexi hours should be available if your role and your job can handle it. And it shouldn't matter whether you're a man or a woman. And I personally, and Gunjan and Priyanka know this, I interrogated them a little bit about today initially, because I feel that yes, of course, women have to champion women, we have to bring each other up, etc. But in the workplace, your gender should not matter. So yes, flexi hours, of course, if your job allows it, if you think that role will be more productive, irrespective of male or female.
But I'm saying that should be across genders.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah? I don't think it should be only for women, and I think that's where the lines get blurred.
I saw other hands go up. Yeah, Aarti?
For sure, across genders.
Across
and
genders.
I think what COVID taught us is that we can work from wherever. When we were all when we were all confined into the homes, we all worked.
Yeah.
And I think that changed the perspective. The shift happened there where we realized that work can carry on. You can continue doing. Virtual meetings took absolutely the next level. So I think that makes a huge difference.
Certain roles are still better in person, but I completely agree that largely you can be functional from anywhere in the world today. Surabhi?
Yeah. So the organization that I represent, I think before coming to the flexi hours, one important thing in terms of the HR practice is we need to bring in diversity in our organization, right? Which means it is not about just hiring men or women or just propagating that we need to have more of women presence, but we need diversity in terms of the thought. And with that, it also brings in the fact that we need to have competence in our organization. Now, competence is not defined by being a man or a woman, right? So while that is one of the fundamental aspects when we hire someone in our organization, the second thing is, as a policy, we have a flexible working hours, right? And that flexibility is both for men and women.
Yeah.
Whosoever is there, it is equally available.
Right.
I feel you can't talk equality/equity and then do this for one gender. It beats the purpose completely. Like Isha said, it should be role-based, it should be discipline-based, it should be need-based. And I think it should be across the board.
Yumi?
I agree.
We agree? Yeah?
Absolutely.
So I think we have a consensus on this on the panel. At the back, ma'am, yes.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity to be here, Gunjan and Priyanka. And very inspiring, of course, the platform we are, within that room. My salute goes to Ranju. And after hearing everybody's this thing, so yeah, I'm amazed to hear your story. Now, going back and resonating with whatever everybody said, I'll take it a step forward. For me, being in hospitality industry for over 20 years now, and now an entrepreneur for almost 7 years, I think the journey has been fabulous. Regressive is progressive is what I believe in. So even if we are in a regressive household or a community, I treat it as progression. Because if they were not there around us, we would not have progressed. For instance, a short instance that 2000 when I got married, I walked in to my house. The first day I joined my office, that was Nirula's way back. I was handling the corporate communications of Nirula's. I walked in and my mother-in-law, we have a duplex house, so she's standing at the kitchen threshold and she's saying, 6 baje chutti hoti hai, 8 baje kyun aaye? So that was beautiful for me because I could actually get the context right with her. I said, I'm an executive right now, but I'm going to be a future CEO of my company. So this is a roadmap I have to build. I can't be out of the office at 6 o'clock when the bell rings. So this is what I've been following. So I would say that all the ladies here have to have a clarity in terms of roadmap. And thankfully, I was blessed with right mentors, right friends around, and the roadmap was pretty clear in this head. That footing, that strength which you get with a strong footing, because you know your roadmap and you're only focusing on that, gets you there. Because nothing can deter you. Because I come from a house where all my 3 sister-in-laws, everybody in the house, I was the only one working, though they were highly qualified. For me to, get in and get my things out, because every Saturday and Sunday I was networking. So that's it. Then the kid happened. How do you take care of the kid? So no daycare, because what will the dunya say, right? But then I managed to carry my kid to work with the permissions of my MDs everywhere I went. Whether I was heading the marketing for JP Hotels, he walked with me. Of course, I billed his expenses, but my CEOs believed in that because they knew that I am a workaholic and work will not suffer. So I knew that this boy has to keep walking. So he's seen it. So as even Priyanka said, that we need to train our boys. So whenever I see Anahat, I feel, what will the girl say when he's being brought up? I have to see the future girl in mind. So I actually brought him up with that vision. What will the girl say? She should not come back and say, "Aisa ladka paida kiya," and this is the kind of atmosphere you've given me because I'm also working. What kind of kid you have brought up? But so I've actually groomed him that way. No, so I think we all, sorry.
No, complete your point.
So I think all of us should have our footing strong, clarity on the ground, get the context right with the families. And I think out of the box thinking.
All I will say is, I'm more power to you, but may the next generation not have to argue with their mother-in-law or anybody else just to work. That's all I think we'll all wish.
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Absolutely. There's a lot of responsibility here.
Actually, just want to add one line, and it made me recall hearing one of the lines that I heard in one of the TV serials that were coming up. And it said that refusing to tidy up in the 21st century is the bold act of feminism.
Well, I just think we've heard in many different ways the one unifying definition of feminism that we can all agree on is simply the freedom to be yourself and the freedom to live on your own terms. I have time for one last question before I take final comments. Okay, we'll take 2 because I see one hand here and one hand here. Yes, ma'am?
Hi.
Yeah.
My name is Sri Lekha. I'm born and brought up in Tripura, the northeast state of Tripura. So I have never seen boy, girl thing because very progressive grandparents and all. And where I stand now are my both grandfathers, my father, my mother, everybody. So I grew up in a household where I have never played anything but a football or got, suspended from a government school from classes because I have beaten up somebody in a different school. So yeah, it's good. And hi Ranju, thank you. 10 years of ovarian cancer, I have just been cured and I know how it is. I was 120 kilos, still teaching my son how to do flying kick because that's how it is. I thought 8 surgeries, 10 years and so much steroids. But I thought if I have to live with 120 kilos, be it. Just be happy. I lost all my hair. I don't care. I had that hair like that and I loved it because it's very good for football. For 10 years on cruise line, you don't have to actually dry your hair. You just... And 15 rupees mein mere saloon mein wo kaat ke deta tha, so it's very good. And growing up and, another thing, being in 80s and 90s in Northeast is a challenge because peak militancy period, classes kam hote the aur wo zyada hote the drills. So that taught a lot. But being from Northeast, still I have a home there, and that's home I call. And as I said, and thank you everybody around, every day shouldn't be a challenge. It should be like, yes, what we are, we are. It shouldn't be men, women. When people say, tum ladka jaisa kyun ho? No, I'm a ladki. And that's who I am. Don't say, मैं लड़का जैसा नहीं हूँ मैं लड़की हूँ, but मैं ऐसी ही हूँ. So, do not say ladka jaisa. There is no ladka jaisa or ladki jaisa. If my son is asking, and I have gone through ovarian cancer period when my son was very young. He is born during cancer treatment, which was a miracle. So at 46, I'm learning new things and restarting. So he used to ask at the age of 4, Mama, aapko diaper chahiye? Because he realized that I'm too much time I'm in washroom and I'm not coming out. And he asked, aapko aapka diaper chahiye kya? Because you're not coming out. And then I realized that I taught something right to my son. Because at the age of 5, he doesn't know what is a sanitary pad, but he knows the pain he has seen. So I asked him, like, why are you asking कि मुझे diaper चाहिए कि नहीं? She said, you have put that newspaper in the bed, right? तो आपको जब pain होता है and that blood आता है तो आप newspaper put करते हो, right? Because 15 days of periods I used to get during those periods, and he learned it, that he has to offer a sanitary pad to me if I am taking too much time. And he was only 5. So I hope he stays like that. So
God bless.
Thank you to everybody.
Thank you.
And that's how it is. Yes, we don't want to be told कि लड़का जैसा हो या लड़की जैसा हो. मैं लड़की हूँ and I am what I am. So
more power to you.
it.
Thank you so much. Really, this will have to be the last question. I'm so sorry. Yes.
Here, I'm here this side. Sorry.
Can't hear you.
I'm this side
Where
on your... Hi.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you...
Yes, I'll keep it short. Yes, yeah. Hi, my name is Nidhi. I work with Branded and we handle destinations like Kenya, Seychelles, Ras Al Khaimah. I have been a journalist most of my life, 14 years, then I transitioned into communications and PR. And it has been, quite a journey. I have seen so much. I worked with Mr. Prabhu Chawla, so, I know how hard taskmaster he is, and I've learned a lot of things. Yeah. So when you say about mentorship, I completely believe in that, and I have a very young team member with me, and I feel that, this is something that we keep on doing, and someday we'll not have to struggle like how we have struggled like us. I'm also raising a daughter, her name is Zoe, and I'm raising her to have a voice of her own, a ground that she can hold on. And I also feel that sometimes there is a lot of noise about millennials and Gen Zs and Gen Alphas and all, but I have always felt that I'm learning so much from them, like how to say no, how to know where to draw your boundaries. And right now at Branded, we have a women CEO and co-founder, and we are also all women team. And I see that there's so much energy, the power is so much, but again, it's all about synergies. It's not just about gender, but I just hope that my daughter, when she grows up, she does not have to be a part of these conversations, but she's just talking about growth.
I mean, these conversations, I think, will continue. The shape and form and the struggles and the celebrations might become different. Very quickly, if you can make your comment in 30 seconds, please. Yeah.
Sure. So firstly, thank you, Gunjan and Priyanka, and such an inspiring panel today to hear all the stories. My name is Urvashi, and I run a company which focuses on women's health. And I think health and wellness is a subject which we haven't touched upon at all today. But what I would really like to highlight here is that while women chase careers and we do gender diversity and we run after relationships, motherhood, all of it. We juggle all of it very, very seamlessly. But we should all completely also focus on health. I think the first start that we have done is to start a women's only company, which is only and only going to focus on health and fitness and work very closely with the hospitality industry. So that's an area where I feel each one of us should take out time for, because eventually that is what is going to be the backbone behind everything that we juggle in our lives.
Sure.
And that's probably my only take on today's panel.
Sorry. Okay, I'm told there's one more question. Yes.
Good afternoon to everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here and hear all the women speak. And Barkha, I think you got it all from your parents, who told you the pen is mightier than everything. Your father was a wonderful person, and of course your mother too. I've met both of them. Going forward, I would say, I've been hearing this about talking about women. I have a very different point of view where women are concerned. I think we just need to be comfortable in our skin ourselves. And that's the way we need to lead. Because we are the privileged ones sitting here, actually. We don't need empowerment. We're all empowered. And I think the reason that we need to empower women are more at the other levels, in the lower levels, and the way we need to hold their hands. Today, I am skilling 13,000 people in Odisha. I have skilled 300 people in Tihar jail. Only the women. I'm talking about the women. And we are skilling many, many more. So I think it's what we need to give the people at the grassroots level is much more important than we all need to. Because I think we just need to change our mindset. I don't think we stand separate. We are in this world, we are as women, and that's what we are. I think the men struggle to do many more things. I've seen that. They struggle to talk to me when they are talking. So I don't know why we feel that the men are the ones we should be really looking as a Hawa. I think we are the ones we should be just there all out to support each and every person in this world, and the women come along with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to make this end sharp and quick. One word that you think women need to throw out of our vocabulary. I'll start with you, Surabhi.
One word that we need to throw out of our vocabulary.
That we need to stop using or thinking of. One word that needs to not be in our dictionary anymore.
Sorry.
Yes, I like that. Okay. Aarti?
Bechari.
Yeah, that's good.
3 words, दुनिया क्या कहेगी?
Best. You, me?
I think sorry.
Sorry?
Sorry for me as well.
Sorry?
That's what I was gonna say.
So stop saying sorry. I think that's a perfect note to end on. You've been a great audience. They've been a great panel. I think the most beautiful thing of this morning is how personal and yet universal I think the stories have been. Of course, everybody has their own journey. Somebody said, you know what, all you have to do is to be yourself. Of course. But sometimes that's easier said than done. I think the one goal we can all agree on, stop apologizing, stop caring about what the world will think, follow your dream, be yourself, the rest will follow. That's the only clarity you need. Thank you so much.
One more thing I want to add. You know, we all talked about, how men also need to support, in what we need to do, right? In these forums, we also need the presence of men. I think that is also needed.
Thank you so much. A big round of applause, please, for all of you and for Barkha. Thank you so much for, for chairing such a wonderful, brilliant, and such an inspiring session. Thank you, ladies. May I request Gunjan, our director, to please say a little thank you to all of you with a token of appreciation. And then can we have a nice picture for all of us? Thank you, everyone. Gunjan, may we please have you thank everyone?
Good afternoon, everyone. What an overwhelming and beautiful day this has been. Hosting this celebration of women in tourism means a lot to all of us. Today has been extra special because I had the privilege of meeting Ms. Barkha Dutt. Her courage, powerful voice, fearless storytelling has inspired so many of us. Standing here today also makes me reflect on my own journey. I was once a very timid child, but over time, I've grown into a stronger and more confident woman. I truly believe that this transformation happened because of the incredible women in my life. First, my mother, who taught me strength and resilience. My colleagues and mentors in the industry, who believed in me and guided me along the way. And my wonderful partner and editor, Priyanka, who brings passion, clarity, and so much heart into everything we do. Interestingly, I also enjoy learning so much from the younger women in our industry. Their energy, ideas, and fresh perspectives inspire me every single day. A heartfelt thank you to all our sponsors and partners for supporting this initiative and believing in what we are trying to build. I would like to thank our state partners, Maharashtra Tourism and Madhya Pradesh Tourism, our hospitality partner, Holiday Inn Aerocity, our insurance partner, Asigo, our gifting partner, Chrono Care, our CSR partner, Creation Welfare Society, valued partners, Travel Bites by TBO Academy, Stick Travel Group, Hotel Radisson, Visit Brussels, Iris Rep, OA Globe, Wyndham Hotels and Resorts, Taiwan Tourism, Air India, Ease My Trip, Aeroprime, Vietnam Airlines, Andaman Experts, and IBIX. And of course, thank you to all of you for being here today and for supporting the platform. When women support each other, incredible things happen. So let us continue to uplift, encourage, and celebrate one another, not just today, but every day. Thank you so very much. Please do join us for lunch. Thank you. Can I have the BOTT team?
For the BOTT team as well, please.